do this.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for the Quad Cities Business Beat.
Quad City.
Oh, yeah.
I am your host, Lynette Hoyt. I am an independent ambassador for Plexus Worldwide. We focus on gut health. This is brought to you as just, we just want to talk about local businesses and what brings them to Prescott, what they have here, all about it. Today we have...
They do.
Yeah, we have San Martin, of course, with Prescott Night Out.
Hello.
Yes.
My husband, Zach.
Husband, Zach.
I
thought I was the husband extraordinaire. Now
Well,
I'm just husband.
I don't know. I was shaking it up a
Oh,
little bit
no.
today. husband, Zach.
we got things to do here.
I am
man.
two people now.
It's not
I'm
all about
husband,
you
husband.
today.
husband. And then we have the infamous, really, I mean, she is really known locally.
The one, the only.
Melanie with Wing Space.
Hey, everyone.
There she is.
Oh, my God.
I believe
what
I
have I
can
gotten
fly.
myself
I
into?
know. I told you. I mean, I didn't tell you when I first got you on, but, I told you just a couple minutes ago. It was kind of
I know.
crazy.
It's exciting. I'm telling you.
That's okay. We'll roll with the punches.
You have to. It's a really fun show. So be sure to
They're
turn.
not really full-on punches.
Oh,
just
just
jabs.
jabs.
Just jabs.
Okay.
Jab, right, jab. Whatever.
Left, right.
Left, right, jab. Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah. Melanie, welcome.
Hi, Melanie.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, we're
Hi.
excited to have you.
Yeah.
She has Wing Space, which is an awesome concept for our community. Why don't you tell us a little about Wings? Well, tell us about yourself first a little bit, and then let's dive into Wing Space.
Sure. Let's see. I am from Arizona, and I've been here in Prescott for, 12 years as of this month. Marks 12 years. I can't believe it's been that long.
Years are like days now. You're like, oh, it's just another day.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. And I love it here. And I am, let's see, what do you want to know about me? I've had many little businesses since I've been here in these 12 years.
So you're familiar with small business.
I am, which is kind of what drove me to do what I'm doing with Wing Space. But I'm married with a bunch of adult kids.
Yay.
Yeah. A total of 10.
Holy cow. Any grandbabies yet?
Well, there's 10 grandkids as well.
Oh.
But they're by marriage.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's 10 grandkids as well.
Dang, talk about making the troops.
Yeah.
The troops are in.
That is like a platoon.
It-
I'm pretty
it
sure
is.
that's
It
like
is.
pushing up on a platoon.
There is no lack of, interest in drama and trauma every once in a while as well. But yeah.
You are an author.
I am.
You are an artist.
I'm an artist.
A phenomenal artist.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I appreciate that.
I love your
There's a
work.
lot of people that don't know that I'm an artist because I've been doing a lot of other things for the last several years, probably 5 years now, and kind of put the art aside.
Can they find any of your art at Wing Space? To purchase?
I do have a little bit of art in Wing Space right now. Yeah.
Cards?
I have my note cards, my book. Some pieces are hanging on the wall now.
Did I tell you Christmas is coming around the corner?
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Come on.
I just read that
by.
on Facebook right now. Somebody's looking for a gift basket. So, I don't know. Somebody has an idea.
Her cards are awesome. Her art is amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful
What kind
stuff.
of art is it?
It's mostly women or women and children. I do
Like
kind of
portraits?
storytelling. No, that's more like storytelling through my art. There's, you'd have to come take a look at
I
it.
said we should have brought a piece here.
I know.
We should have brought
I
a
know.
piece here.
Next time.
It's like I could show you on my phone.
Yeah.
We'll stop by and do a quick live. Remember we were talking about that art that she does?
Yes.
Here it is.
There it is. And they're like, voila. So the Wing Space idea, I'm obviously very familiar with it because I met you. I forgot where I met you at. What was it?
Oh, we met at a networking event.
That is right.
Yes.
Over at the Barley Hound.
Yes.
Was it Barley Hound? Yes. So we met there, and then I ended up going and doing a tour of the place. And I was like, dude, this is an awesome idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously something that I needed because as a entrepreneur, there's some things that I don't do is get an office for my personal self. So I'm like, oh, look here's a bedroom and here's a desk. And I'm like, oh, and look at this, a bed. And it
And
was
my
really,
laptop, yeah.
it was really hard to go ahead and like, become a businessman inside of like a house, my
Right.
house.
Right.
And so I don't even want to work sometimes. I'm just like, oh yeah, I put my 2 hours in. I'm going to go watch some TV now.
Yeah.
So the whole
Yeah.
office space is really big. But now that I have, obviously this too as well, it's kind of like, we do a lot of podcasts here and stuff, but I love going to Wing Space because of all the entrepreneurs that are there.
Yeah.
And especially you. You're very knowledgeable of what you're doing and how to bring, a community together.
Yeah.
You did something amazing by gathering, a lot of businesses together.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that same time, you actually do a couple of things there. On Wednesdays, let's talk about your Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, I have a lunch and learn that we call Midweek Mind Tweak, where I invite the members of the space and sometimes people out who are not members to come in and teach what I call a honed skill. So whatever skill it is that you have, it doesn't necessarily have to be about your business. But if you happen to be something like a real geek with spreadsheets or Google Docs and that sort of thing, you are more than welcome to come and teach the rest of us how to do that and how to manage our businesses better. So it's all about helping each other improve our businesses to make them stronger and more sustainable.
And that's something that you probably don't get at a college education. And I think that's kind of like the things that I liked about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm missing a huge chunk of learning, like Google Docs and things like that, because I was just working.
Right.
And you just used the processing that you used at work. And I feel like, oh my gosh, I've missed like a whole chunk of things that I need to go back and take classes on.
Right. Well, I just had this conversation with a member yesterday who she's a coach, and she went through her training to become a coach. And then she's like, okay, now what do I do with that?
Right.
I don't know actually how to turn
like,
this
I'm
into
gonna
a
learn how to
business
be a
and make it,
coach.
and
Right.
make a profit off of, working with clients. And so we had a great conversation about it. Like, oh, well,
And putting
here's
it all
how you do
together.
that.
Yeah.
Because I did that for 5 years. I worked as a holistic health coach out of my home, converted a bedroom into
your
an
office space.
Yeah, and it was very lonely.
Yeah.
It was very
So is this
lonely
what
work.
made you think of collaborating with us?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working from home for many years of my life with different businesses, and it just got to the point where I was very lonely and feeling isolated. And so, yeah, that was one of the reasons why I actually gathered. This was before I even heard of co-working. Co-working spaces, I mean. I heard, I tried to gather some other women who were like me that I knew worked from home and knew they did workshops, they worked with clients, and I brought them around for a meeting around a table much like this and said, hey, what if we all went in on a place together? And they thought, wow, that's such a great idea. And then I kind of presented the business idea in some papers, and there were numbers there on the last pages, and they're all like, ooh, I don't know about that. And so that didn't work out. And like a month later, a friend of mine was telling me about, oh, well, Melanie, all you want to do is open up a co-working space. I'm like, a what? It's
what?
A what?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. And so I went home and Googled it, and like for the next 4 hours, I went down a rabbit hole and went, oh my God, Prescott needs this.
Yes.
So bad. We need this because there's so many people like us working from home, and it's not productive. There's pets, there's children, there's spouses, there's
TV,
there's
couch,
TV, there's
bed,
laundry,
refrigerator.
there's dishes. I mean,
Yeah.
there's everything to distract you from actually being productive with your work.
Yeah, I found that like just recently going into this whole like business. Let me do this, and it's just hard. It's really hard, and so I gotta get out of the house. I have to go and just be out there. If I don't, then I feel like I'm not doing anything. So it's kind of hard to be like a business person / entrepreneur?
Well, it does take a lot of discipline. I
Yeah.
mean, Zach and I both work from home, and we have a 3-year-old, and it's like you said, laundry, toys. Has he not cutting off his hand? You know, I mean, there's so many.
It's quiet. What's he doing?
There he goes.
It's too
There
quiet.
he goes with the butcher knife again.
Just let him learn.
You know, I mean, it is hard, and I totally get it. And I think we live in a community here where we know that the demographic is a lot of retired people, but there are a lot of people who telecommute. I actually did it in my last job. I worked from home, and you know, it is hard. But there's not. You don't have an office. You just need to work. You have to work from home. So this is just a great opportunity for those people that really need to just get out of the house and go work and be productive.
I would say probably about half of the members that are at Wingspace are remote workers, which makes it great because they can be part of community. If they're used to going to a corporate office, and then they find out, oh, I don't actually have to live in the big city anymore. I can live anywhere and just work anywhere. Then they get home, and for the first month or so, they think, wow, this is so great. I can work anytime. I can work in my pajamas. And then it slowly turns into, oh my God, this isn't working for me anymore.
All of a sudden the TV's on more, or yeah, absolutely.
Got to check
Absolutely.
what's in the refrigerator, even though I was just there 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
It's
it might have changed. The Jetsons have just taken over, and it just appears.
You're
you
like,
know?
there it is. That's what I was looking for.
Yep.
One of the other things that I like about Wingspace is that it has a conference room. Conference rooms that you could basically rent out during the times or hours that you need them. I just had one the other day, and it was perfectly cool. You just walk up, and you're just like, oh, here we go, and then you invite a bunch of people, and it can fit 15 or 20? Or?
It can fit 16 people around the conference. We went set up like a conference room table, but it can be rearranged in different ways, and we can actually even take the tables out of there if we needed to, and sit probably 20 people easily.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you have three different conference rooms, right?
Yeah, we have 3 different conference rooms. We have a small one that's more for it's more of a casual setting with soft seating, and we can fit about 6 people in there comfortably. And then we have a small podcast room that we call the Vortex, and it's great. And then we have a flex, what we call the Cloud Cafe. It's a flex works area, so everything's on wheels. All the desks and chairs are on wheels, so that place can be rearranged in many different ways for many uses.
So basically, you could range from the 6 people to the 16 people to 10 people to actually I think
decent
the other day at the
networking group.
Christmas little get together you had
Yeah.
30 people,
Yeah.
35, 40 people in there,
Yeah.
which it was comfortable.
And do you have to be a member to rent out the larger space for if you wanted a
No.
party?
You
or-
do not have to be a member to rent any of the spaces. Yep, you can
Awesome.
come in. You can just drop in for a day to work there. I have a day rate, so you don't have to be a member. But membership has its privileges too.
Okay, so talking about day rate, we were just talking about the holidays. We were talking about, people are coming in to visit family. Sometimes they're here a few days before, a few days after. They need to work. They need to get away from, the kitchen table. Tell us about what you offer.
Sure.
Any of those people who, may be looking for a place to get away and get some work done.
Sure. So we have a number of options. I mean, they could come in if they plan to be here for the whole week. They can get a 1 week. It's called a flyby, a 1 week flyby, and so that has one rate. And then you can also just drop in for the day. You can even book by the hour now. So if they just need to get away from family for a few hours, and they need quiet, like the cafe might be too busy and too loud. They've got blenders going and that kind of stuff, and they need to have some quiet. They can come in and book by the hour, which is $4 an hour.
Oh, that's not bad.
With a minimum of 2 hours. So yeah,
That's really reasonable because
Yeah.
sometimes there's webinars and things that are offered to people and they're, I'm on vacation, but this is a great opportunity for them to get away and focus on what they're doing. And
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
One of the things that I read on Wingspace was you're now connected with another outside entity. So if I were to travel to a different city and they had this opportunity,
that's the nomad. Yeah. So that's the proximity nomad. My co-working space uses the proximity software, which is what I get an app. All my members get an app that opens the front door, and it allows you to manage your membership. If you sign up for a proximity nomad membership, it then gives you access to other co-working spaces around the country. So if you are traveling, if you do travel a lot, or if you're just traveling for pleasure every once in a while, it doesn't really matter. If you need to get some work done, all you have to do is look up on the map, see where the closest proximity network space is, and you can go in and work.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I heard about this a long time ago from a friend that was living in. You know what I'm talking about.
Istanbul? Yes, it was Istanbul, wasn't it?
She was way out.
Timbuktu?
I'm just turning it to you because you might have the answer.
Just a random
It
guess.
is. It was the answer.
Oh my gosh, I almost had it. But anyways, she was literally on the outside of Amsterdam. I don't know if you guys are familiar with any places around. Anyways, she was actually selling this around the world. So this open office space was something that was presented to me a long time ago. So when I met you and I seen that or heard that, I was like, oh, I've heard about this. Yeah.
Yes.
So you could show up in places and you're like, oh, here I am. And then you have that open door policy for, once again, I guess you call it the nomad.
It's
That's
the proximity nomad. And I do have that here at Wingspace. So I guess there's going to be the guy that you saw in the video. He's going to be traveling through Arizona. Well, I'm one of two proximity spaces in Arizona right now. So he's either coming to my place or maybe he is going to go to both places. There's one in Flagstaff as well.
What a great opportunity.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we get a lot of visitors from around the world. I know that for a fact because I meet a lot of people. But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, especially if you just need to get out of the house.
Yes.
Well, and it's easier than saying, hey, everybody be quiet. I'm trying to work. It just cuts all that out.
It just cuts it out.
Cuts
You're
it
like,
out.
you know what? I'll be back.
Cuts it off at the feet.
It's not like you're going to the library either.
No.
You're, and I like the ability to talk to other members. Some of the members that you have in your office space, and you kind of like tell the people that are there that can help you. I know one of them is a tax guy. I had to utilize him the other day. I was like, man, guess what?
Yeah, that's Jay. Yeah. So we have we have so many different types of members. We have a CPA, we have bookkeepers, a couple of bookkeepers. We have life coaches, health coaches. We have a new startup tech company. We have a bunch of remote workers. It's anything and everything kind of. I even have a seamstress who uses the podcast room to meet with her clients that she needs to have them fitted for the clothes that they do. It just kind of works out for her because it's a central location. She has her membership. They go and they meet, and the podcast room has curtains and a mirror inside. So it just works out for her. I have such a different array of members.
Well, and also going back to just meeting. I mean, she meets regularly, but sometimes you just need a place to go sign documents. You need, a place that's not Starbucks. It's a little bit more private, Well, that's a great opportunity for them to. Yeah.
The privacy thing is it's a big deal that I think people don't really realize how important and serious it is. I personally have been sitting in cafes where there's a meeting going on at the table next to me, and they're talking about stuff that's like, you know what? I really shouldn't be hearing this.
Yeah.
And I can hear the entire conversation. That's when you need to invest in your business and come to a place like Wingspace and, get a private office for that particular meeting. It doesn't mean you have to be a full-time member, but come and have that meeting there and show your clients, I really care about the privacy of this conversation.
And you have coffee.
And we have
all of that stuff.
We have everything they
Got
need.
a full-size kitchen.
Yep.
Well, the fridge is there. It's still there.
It's a great kitchen.
Yeah, it doesn't have a stove. Does it have a stove?
It doesn't have a stove. It
There's
has
a
microwave and toaster oven. Yeah.
So it's almost the complete kitchen without the
Yeah.
oven. Well,
Yeah.
you got an oven. You got an
I have
oven.
a toaster oven.
Yeah, exactly. They can have bagels.
Yes.
Bagels and schmear.
Smear.
Schmear.
Make some jalapeno poppers.
Make some
Okay. I have a good question. I think we chatted about what you're trying to present coming up in the next year, and it's kind of like an educational deal for business entrepreneurs and people that want to step into their own business. And it was kind of like an, I think it's like if you could explain again, if you're, I don't even know if
concept?
you're still gonna, if you're gonna put it out there still.
We are. We're I think you're talking about the Business Accelerator program.
There we go.
Yes, we are currently working on it. We plan to launch it in the spring, and it's a really great program because there really isn't anything here in the Prescott area that addresses the kind of things that the solopreneur is interested in getting help and support in starting up a business. Because, you have the SBDC that works with, clients that are, going to hire people and they're going to have a brick and mortar business and this sort of thing. And so the solopreneur kind of falls through the cracks in that we don't necessarily need to get a loan, but we do need help on how do I set up my business model so that it's going to be sustainable for a solopreneur. How do I do that? Who do I need to get in contact with? What kind of things do I need to be concerned about tax-wise? How do I, what kind of technology do I need? What kind of processes and systems do I need to set up? This is what we do in this Business Accelerator program that will take someone who's like, I'm ready to start a business. I have an idea and I want to do this, but I keep hitting a wall. I keep getting stuck in certain areas. And so this program is designed to help the solopreneur.
So when are we looking at seeing that? Like first of the year?
We're looking probably April or May.
Oh, great.
By the time it's ready.
Okay, so if you are looking at starting a business, this is something that you really want to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea because I was talking to somebody the other day, and what you learn in college, and I'm not trying to knock education in general, but what you learn in college, you're not going to see in the real life. Right. And I've heard a lot of business people that have done that. They've actually went the opposite way around to start their business by investing a lot of money in the education, and then also with all the equipment, if they need equipment to start their business, and then they have no customers to pay all that money back.
Right.
And I'm just like, whoa.
Well, the technology changes.
Yeah.
I mean, say you graduated, 10 years ago, and you go into the workforce for a while and you say, oh, I want to start my own business.
Yeah.
Technology, I mean, we were just talking about that. If you don't use some of this stuff on a regular basis, you're having to start all over again.
And that's what's so beautiful about working in a collaborative space is you have people who are currently running their businesses, have been, and you can get up, walk across the room, and talk to someone and say, hey, I'm having a little trouble with something. Do you know someone here in the space that can help me out with this? And there's usually always someone there. And then you can get past those, sticky points quickly and back to business. It's
utilize it and
beautiful.
then run with it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great concept. I mean, I believe that a lot of people could actually learn and be prosperous off of it. I mean, when you presented it to me, I was just like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about the round tables.
Yes.
Yeah, those that right there, I think is pretty cool. I think it's like this kind of like deal right here, and then we bring one person that comes in, and they just whatever you want to talk about or what
awesome.
questions you want to ask.
Yep.
Like let's go ahead and put a lawyer here to go ahead and talk about some things. Let's go ahead and put like a CPA right here. Let's talk about some things, and it's rather than a business mixer, it's literally a round table conversation, kind of like this right here. Yeah, this is exactly what it is. And so basically, I was like, dude, I'm floored. This is awesome. You come up with some great ideas. You're like, you know what? I don't want to do the mixer like that. I want to go ahead and bring in people that are like want to interact. And I'm like, how do you do that? I read this book. Let's try it out.
Well, and you also, I mean, we talk about mixers, and I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks, or maybe it was last week. There is a mixer on every corner in this community, in the
Yes.
Quad Cities. If you can't find a mixer,
I
you're not
know.
looking very hard.
I know.
But we also need to have a discussion on what to do when you're there.
Yeah.
You know, how do you approach people? How do you talk to people? You know, I mean,
yeah, and I find a lot of that. Like,
it's
people
great to
just-
say you're going to go, but you got to kind of actually make it work for you too. And I'm
Yeah.
speaking from my own experience. So
Yeah, they sit there in the corner. And I'm just like, hey, how you doing? What do you do? Oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, you're a doctor? What are you doing? Come over. Like, I was seriously. I met a lot of people, and they're like, I'm here to mingle and tell people about my business. And I'm like, and I'm thinking in my head, I was like, you're not doing a good job because
Yeah.
I don't know how to teach anybody that type of skill, I guess, into trying
Right.
to get people out there and talk about their business besides just talking about it.
Right.
And it's just hard to talk to people.
I think
like
a lot of times it's the approach of how do you go up to somebody you don't know. And
Yeah.
I brought this up. I'm in a networking group on Friday mornings, or doesn't matter. And that was the question I posed: is I'm a really outgoing person, but when it comes to people I don't know, how do you approach?
How do I do that?
How
Yeah.
do I do that? You know?
And Prescott Area Leadership recently did it was a really great event on showing how to
Mix at a
network
mixer?
and how to develop relationships at networking events, because it's really what it's more about is developing relationships so people understand, like, over time, what is it that you do and how do you do that. But like at Wingspace, I came to this realization that there are like a million different networking events going on in this town now. And so I did decide to kind of back away from that and say, okay, what do we not have going on in this town that I think would benefit people? And I realized I wanted to give people experiences of collaboration. Is how do you come into an event and collaborate on something? And so that's been my focus, and that is going to be my focus for 2019, is providing these opportunities
That's awesome.
to collaborate. Yeah.
Now, speaking of collaboration, I know you worked with Embry-Riddle,
Yes.
the beginning stages of Wingspace.
Yeah.
We have a huge resource at Embry-Riddle, and if you're not familiar with Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, you need to be. They are a great resource in our community. Tell us a little bit about what you did, how that even occurred.
Sure. So they have a program called the Eagle Consulting Program, and I'd heard about it. I'd heard from a number of other business people that I'm friends with in the town that they used it to help them kind of look over their business plan or their marketing plan and help them find, weak points where they can maybe improve. So I went there with this idea when I first heard about the co-working space thing. It was like literally a few days after I'd heard about it. And I went and talked to Professor Gibson, who heads the department. And I said, so here's this idea, and how can you guys help me? Because I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know how to even find out, like, is this a viable business model for this area? And so that was the place where we started. He gave me a team of 9 students. I couldn't believe it. I got a team of 9 students that helped me determine my basic, viable product. Like, what is my product? What is my service? And what do people in this area want? Are they interested in it? Would they pay for it? So they created a survey. They put a survey out there for me. They got phone numbers of people who are in business in the area that work from their homes. They picked up the phone. They made phone calls and asked people to take the survey. I mean, they did a lot of footwork for me. I've had, I think, 6 different teams now. That's 6 different semesters. And I get a new team each time if I feel like I need help with something. And they just recently went out into the cafes and surveyed cafe people for me. So
That's awesome.
They hit a number of them, and
So you don't do it just once; you can just continue to use.
yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I go back every semester, and especially when I know there's something specific I need help with.
So it's free.
It's free, people. It's
Professor
free.
Gibson, Embry-Riddle.
contact them. They're getting ready to do a new one in January. So if you want in, you got to hop on now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what I'll send people out there. I'm like, can we do a survey on these shirts that we want to produce?
Well,
you know what?
What's this shirt called?
Kale, yeah.
Hell yeah.
They actually
Shout out Debbie Moranville.
They actually have an example of a T-shirt company that this model helps to determine if people would actually like the T-shirts and what they said on them.
Boom.
And yeah, they actually did it.
I mean, I'm all over these questions in life. I'm like, what would make people tick?
I just love that they're a great resource for our community.
They are an excellent resource for anyone starting a business or already in business and shifting, maybe pivoting and needs some help.
Marketing.
Yeah, all of it.
And
they've helped people with websites. They pull together the right kind of students that can help depending on what your needs are.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Professor Gibson.
Yeah, I was looking into either it would be Yavapai College or Prescott College or even now Embry-Riddle, but people that are wanting to go ahead and step into journalism or step into events or something like that will they would want to participate or internship of some sort.
Mm-hmm. They do. They have internships, or you can request an intern to come and help you.
Didn't know that.
With the students. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much that a lot of us don't know.
Yeah.
Is available to us.
Yeah,
Well, and even just to
fun.
get help getting organized, get help getting ahead. And like back to the Embry-Riddle thing, these guys they want to grow. They're getting a grade on this. So it's not like they just, right?
And in my experience, they're overachievers. So
They are.
They really want to do well.
They want to do well because they want a
that
good grade,
They do.
So it's not like they just throw you some kids and it's kind of haphazardly done.
They're
It's
like, good luck.
Yeah, I mean they really take it seriously.
They do.
So
They do.
They're like, good luck with your business. I'll talk to you later.
yeah,
that's-
that is not them.
No.
I was actually thinking of starting a program where instead of hiring people, we would go ahead and teach them. Like for instance, I do detail work. I'd be like, I'll intern you, and you guys got to pay me for this intern. So you never lose like the prospective, employee. You just have this constant like cycle.
I'd be interested to see if that works.
I know, but just think about all the
like,
people that have all those like moments where they're going to college and they're not actually achieving what they wanted to do, and they waste all that money. And I mean, don't get me wrong, when education comes involved, it's a good resource to spend money. But just think about it: if they gave them to the people that actually have a business that they need help in. And instead of having this huge turnaround problem, and because Prescott has a problem with that, actually, I've heard that it's around the nation that our labor force right now, which are the young kids from the age of 18 to I think 30 years old right now, they don't want to work, and they think that everybody owes them something. So I was thinking like maybe we could go ahead and turn around the mindset and say, hey, this is an educational tool, and have that loan go to the
business owner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with it.
I can see it.
I'm like, man,
Okay.
I mean,
Give me money so you can work.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same concept as what you're going through right now. Is like they're actually paying the school of Embry-Riddle, but they're sending them, these guys that could actually help your business, and you don't have to pay them. I think it's, I think it's cool. I mean, just think about it. Here's $20,000 to let these guys work for you. You're like, all right, sold.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sold on it, but
Well, I've had this problem.
Maybe we should go to Embry-Riddle, pitch them the idea, and
See
have them
how
tell
viable
us
it is.
how we can make it work.
But then they would be taken away from their money. So we would have to become the college guys. This is
the
what it
college
comes-
guys. There you go. There's your
We're-
name, the college
the
guys.
college-
We're going to be the college people that get all these college.
Somehow that's going to turn into something bad.
Yeah, I'm serious. I
We
think
put
have
that on
something
a shirt. It's just
The college guys.
the college guys.
Oh boy.
We got to go back.
There's
I've
those
never went to
college guys again.
I never went to college, man. I think we should go back for 1 year at least to see what happens.
It could be
It's just
interesting.
going to end up like Old School, the movie Old School.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I need to go watch that. I don't think I have.
You partnered. I don't know if that's the right word, with Munchkin Land. So
I do. I have a business partnership
parents
with
who
them.
need to get away and do some work, who have kids,
Yep.
there is a collaboration with you and them.
Yep.
Where are they located? How's that all work?
Yeah. So members of Wingspace, they basically can go in and show their membership, their app, to Jennifer Frost over there, the owner, and they can get a discounted rate for up to 3 hours, because it is a play care center, so up to 3 hours, and then they can come to Wingspace and they get that awesome hourly rate. So
cool.
it just makes it really, really affordable for parents to be able to get some real focused productivity, work done.
And
That's pretty
Munchkin
quick.
Land is up at Frontier Village. It's
Mhm.
kind of in the corner by Zeke's and Fujiyama. So,
I always thought it was over the rainbow.
I see what you just did there. I see what you just did there.
so basically,
You're
it's
welcome.
relatively close to Wingspace. Where is Wingspace located? So people know.
Sure. It's at 371 Garden Street. We're in Suite A, right here close to downtown Prescott.
Yeah, so they're kind of in between, because you'll drive by it and you'll
Prescott
go, oh, that's where it
College
is. Yeah, Prescott College
and
area, but you can see it
the-
from Miller Valley.
Oh,
You can
right.
see it
Post
from
office.
Miller
Sunglass
Valley.
Emporium.
It's right by the eyeglass hut right
Yes.
there.
Sunglass Emporium.
In the same Sunglass Emporium. It's in the same parking lot as O'Reilly's Auto
Yes,
Parts and
that's right.
Salon St. Martin. Yeah,
That's right.
that's it.
They have
That's right.
that's a good location, because obviously a lot of people think that it might be out of the way, which it's not. So
It's not.
central to downtown Prescott.
And again, if you need a little event or that you need a little space that you want to have a party or whatever, contact Melanie at Wingspace, because they have that whole cafe area that you have tables, chairs,
We have tables, chairs,
linen.
I don't have
bring
linen,
your
but
own
you
linen.
can bring in.
But
your
the
own
freedom
linen.
to be able to do that is not, you can't find that everywhere. So you can bring in your own food.
Yep.
And I don't know what did you say? How many does that hold?
Well, it depends on how it's used. Like for networking events, we can probably easily have, because that's a stand-up
Mm-hmm.
event. It's usually around 40 people can fit in there
That's
pretty
great.
easily. The other night we had 30 people and they were all sitting on chairs, but not at tables. So it depends on how
Okay.
you want to set up the space.
That's great. So you have that flexibility.
Yeah.
What's your goal? What can we help you with as a community when people are listening? Obviously you want a lot of members.
Well, yeah.
But-
obviously, I want a lot of members. But more than anything, I just really want people who are feeling isolated, and even if they're in a cafe and they're still feeling isolated, because it's not an entrepreneurial community. It's community, but it's in a different way. I want those people to come try it out and see what it's like to work in a collaborative environment. Some people are surprised. They're like, I'm not so sure that's a right fit for me. But then when they come in and they realize how easy it is to connect with other people, they change their mind. And those who have, their revenue has increased, their productivity has increased, they change their mind. They're like, well, okay, this is actually a pretty good
This
thing.
might work.
Yeah.
That might work. Can people get a free tour or a tour?
They can come in
So
for
they can
a
check it
tour.
out.
They can come in for a tour with me, and I can learn more about what their needs are, because there's things about Wingspace that they may not know or understand how it works, and then they can try a free day.
That's awesome.
Come in for a free day. Give it a shot.
And they got phone booths.
And we have phone booths. Yes.
Yeah, so when you
It's like
get on
Superman, you know,
Yeah.
you go in there.
You're like, I was like, I like this phone booth idea.
Well, and I'm assuming because you've got great Wi-Fi, you've got all of that stuff. You just need to bring your stuff. You need to bring your computer, your phone. It's all set up.
Yep.
And
we have speedy Wi-Fi there. I have designers, graphic designers, web designers come in because they tried going into a cafe and then it gets bogged down, and then they're like, okay, we're going to Wingspace.
Yeah.
Because
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you want stuff to be done, you want it. I've done that before, and I'm just like, ugh, I can't stand
Frustrating,
this.
yes.
Like, do you guys have Wi-Fi here? Oh, of course, just go ahead and log in. I'm just like, I did. I'm asking this as a, freaking, as a joke right now.
Well, and
Yeah.
like I said before, I think it's a great place if you're going to have a little meeting of 4 people or 6 people.
Yeah.
It's private. It's confidential. You know, I think that was a big, a great point that you made is, you know, sitting in a coffee shop somewhere, everybody can listen to your conversation.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know.
you know, I'm not trying to knock cafes. Cafes
Yeah.
are great.
They
They're
serve its
wonderful.
purpose.
They do, but we also know that there are, dare I say, Wi-Fi squatters who are trying to work there and get their work done off of a cup of coffee and for the whole day. And that's not necessarily the best thing for the cafe owners for their business when they, you know, when a 4 top is being taken by one person. It's like, okay, you know, it's hurting. I think it can be hurting the cafe. So, you know, come get your work done there. Go back to the cafe and meet with people on a social level. And, you know, so it's really knowing and understanding when it's going to be more productive to come and work at a place like Wing Space versus, you know, going to the cafe. And,
Right.
Yeah.
So, in parting words, Facebook, website, phone number, how do we get a hold of
Yep.
you?
Go to wingspace.biz, B-I-Z, and you can always call 928-239-5656 or email me at cowork@wingspace.biz.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you can always pop in Monday through
Yeah,
Friday,
just pop in.
9 to 5. Yeah.
When you see it, you'll know exactly, and you go, "Oh, it's right there." I think that because it faces Miller Valley, you think it would be a Miller Valley address, but it's you know,
it's a garden street.
and it's very well. The signage is great, and when you see it, you'll go, "Oh yeah, that's where that
There it
is."
yes.
I think this is a great opportunity for people to get out of their kitchen, you know, get away from their kitchen table and get to somewhere where there's other people around. And if you don't want to talk to people, you don't have to talk to people, but at least there are other things going on besides laundry and the dishwasher and
we have
all that
unlimited
stuff.
coffee.
Refrigerator.
Unlimited coffee.
Unlimited coffee, tea.
That refrigerator.
Exactly.
Coffee.
Exactly.
That refrigerator has me stuck.
Anything else you want to add, ma'am?
No, I think this was great. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys having me in. As goofy and crazy as you guys are, I love it.
Hey, we just want to get the
works.
word out of local businesses. So
Yeah,
we are
it's awesome.
glad you joined us. And thank you, Zach, for being here. And
Always.
San Martin, anything more to add, you guys?
Yeah, I want to know who this podcast is sponsored by.
Oh, this podcast is sponsored by me, Lynette. I am an independent ambassador for Plexus Worldwide, your gut health specialist.
Boom.
Boom. Get your gut healthy. Right, Melanie?
Get your gut healthy.
That's right.
Yes.
Let's
most
gut
definitely.
healthy. That's going to be my tagline. Let's gut healthy.
Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
one more question. Your Wednesday Mind Tweak,
Yes.
are they open to the public or is it just members?
It is open to the public. We ask that people register ahead of time so that
Mm-hmm.
we know, because those are popular and they fill up. So
Yes.
if you want in on them, you got to register.
Yeah.
And then
And
I
it's
close
They're
it.
Free
awesome too.
education.
It is. It is.
Free
And it's
education.
not long. I mean, you can bring your
an
lunch.
hour.
It's an
Yeah.
hour.
Yep. Bring
So-
your lunch.
So
hour
nobody in
long.
the community should say there's nothing available for business people to learn more.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
it
but-
happens.
I
It
think
happens.
we need to do the MailChimp one again.
Oh,
MailChimp.
it's so good.
Yeah.
PJ's great at the MailChimp ones. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks,
you.
And again,
everyone.
this
See you
will
later.
be posted on Saturday. So
Yep.
See you later. Woohoo.
I don't know who
Bye.
got on over there, but
bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
I got to change the name from Jake to Zach. I actually did say Jake. I don't know why.
That's okay.
I'm
Like I said, as long as you don't call me late for dinner.
That's so funny. My bad. All right, guys.
That's all right.
See you later.
All right. See you next
Bye.
week.